So, what is going on, guys? I am BlackOpsAmazing. I've literally just recorded a video for my second channel with my face cam, so I thought, you know what, why not include face cam, at least for the beginning of this video. I'll probably pop up a little bit of gameplay in a second. Anyway, by the way, if you haven't already, check out my second channel. I think you guys are going to enjoy the video. So, as I was saying, what would you call it? The second episode, the second issue of our Call of Duty Zombies comics, released, I think it was yesterday now, but something very interesting, which I want to talk about in this video, appeared in that comic on the last page, and this is the Ascension loading screen, but not just the Ascension loading screen. This is freaking new, guys. This is interesting. Take a look at this. So, as I was saying, in the second issue, you can find this image. Does it look familiar? Well, it should do, because this is... well, it's supposed to be the Ascension loading screen, but it's not. It's actually quite a lot different to the one we are usually used to seeing. You will notice this is the new one, then you take a look at the older one, and actually there are a ton of changes, but this isn't the first time we've seen a older loading screen appear once again in our zombie storyline. We saw not too long ago the Nuketown loading screen, a newer version, a newer zoomed out version, appear in the first issue of our zombies comics. We go all the way back to Moon, where once again we had a new loading screen. We go all the way back to the Giant, where once again we had a new loading screen. Treyarch recently keep providing us with new loading screens, but we have no real explanation behind it as to why Treyarch are doing this. Ascension has no involvement in any of our zombies comics. Nuketown had no involvement in the first issue of our Call of Duty Zombies comic. Yet for some reason, Treyarch are throwing in these new loading screens. Why would they go out of their way to create these new loading screens if they're not going to talk about it in the comics? It really doesn't make sense. Now, before we get into my reasons as to why they may be doing this, let's just take a look at this shit, break it down, let's speculate it, because this is freaking awesome. I love seeing things like this, and oh my god, Monty's back, guys. Monty is back. So like I said, we have the new Ascension loading screen. On the left, we clearly have Dr. Monty, where he's drawing on a blueprint. He's just, well, he seems to be just looking out into the sky, the open air in front of him, and he's writing down something on those blueprints. Maybe he is the one who has drawn that blueprint up. Maybe that's what he's doing. He's drawing a blueprint up. What exactly this is showing? Well, we know Dr. Monty is a god. He is the god of our zombies universe. He created the perk machines. He created the mystery box. He is the one who controls what our characters do. He is the good guy from what we can tell, although we thought maybe he's got an evil side to him. There's only one freaking ending to Revelations, okay? Let's just get over it. But Monty is the good guy. He is the god of our universe, whereas, as we know, the Shadow Man was kind of like the devil, the bad guy. We have the good versus the evil. Nevertheless, we can see Dr. Monty drawing on blueprints. Maybe, I was thinking, this is how he creates our worlds, or how he creates our scenarios, our situations. Maybe this is him drawing up the map Ascension, or drawing up a blueprint of something that happens or something in that map. We go back to the original Ascension loading screen, and you see in the background, in the center, there is a blueprint. There is a blueprint there. We can't tell what it says, but we have the 115 rockets on there. Maybe that is what Dr. Monty is drawing up. I mean, I can't properly tell. I am a little bit blind, but you see Dr. Monty is the one creating these blueprints. Then we come to the center, where not too much has changed. We still have the 3 rockets. In the middle, the little hut on the right with that little Sophia thing, or whatever that is. You know, we still have those basic objects, especially the rockets, but the main thing is the shadow, that famous 115 shadow that was cast over the rockets in the Ascension loading screen, is no longer there in the new one. It is now just the outcast, just the normal shadow of the rockets. This time it doesn't say 115. On this new one, we also have trees, we have life in the background, we have for some reason the blueprint of one of the dragons. I don't know why that's there. Maybe that's just to show that more life is going on in this image. Is this blueprint drawn up by Monty after the war with the Apothecans is over? I mean, we have trees in the background, we have life. Is this a new blueprint Monty is making after the end of the war with the Apothecans, after the Shadow Man is gone and Monty can start to once again create this perfect universe? Now that the zombies have gone out of his perfect universe, maybe Dr. Monty is creating it all again, this time without any of the evil. That's why we have life in the background and these blueprints of the dragons. Maybe that was one explanation. That could also be the reason as to why we don't see 115 any longer as the shadows for the rockets, because it simply no longer exists in Monty's universe. Another thing to note is actually the rockets look more like the ones from Der Eisendrache than from anywhere else, whereas, if you go back to the older loading screen, the rockets actually look totally different. They look like the ones from Moon, the ones from Ascension, but we go to this new one and they look totally different. In fact, they are. They look more like the ones from Der Eisendrache or maybe somewhere else than the ones from Ascension. Now we go over to this next image where clearly we have the Gobblegum machine, or to me it looks like the Gobblegum machine. Then in the background we have the face of a girl, which to me looks like Samantha. I was thinking at first maybe that's Sophia or one of the scientists that worked at Ascension with the Ascension group with Yuri and Gersh, but to me it does look like Samantha. As to why she's there looking into that Gobblegum machine, again, is a mystery for now. Then we go to the right where we have an image of a keeper, and we go back to the original image where previously it was a scientist. Whether that was Gersh getting sucked up or just someone at Ascension, we don't know what's happening to them in that image, but you see there are drastic changes to this new Ascension loading screen than anything we've seen before. Things clearly have changed, and I'm thinking maybe this Ascension loading screen is before Ascension. This is what took place before the evil, the Apothecans, the zombies were at that place, or this is what happened after. Or maybe it's none of them and I'm totally wrong. I mean, we know the Gobblegum machine, since it's in this image, wasn't introduced until Dr. Monty became involved in our zombie storyline, and that wasn't until later on. That wasn't until after Ascension, which to me could only say that this image, this is a new one drawn up by Dr. Monty after the original from Ascension. This is perhaps after the zombies and the Apothecans are gone from this world. Well, like I said, maybe that's not true and maybe it means something else. Ascension was actually my favourite map on Black Ops 1. It was definitely a fun map to play, and you have to say it's suspicious that Treyarch are giving us all of these new loading screens, but we really don't have an explanation behind them. We have the new Moon loading screen. You could say we got that because maybe we blew it up in Der Eisendrache and it was just a tease for that. You could say we have the Nuketown. Actually, no, we don't have a reason for having the new Nuketown loading screen. We don't have one for this one as of yet. But also remember, we had a new one before Black Ops 3 for Derice, and that ended up coming as a remake in Black Ops 3. Since they are giving us all of these older maps, Ascension, Nuketown, Moon, and remember we had Derice, but that came back as a remake anyway. Are Treyarch possibly hinting towards these maps becoming remakes in the future? Are they hinting towards a DLC 5? Personally, something I struggle to believe in, but I hold that little bit of hope. So I'm just going to put that out there. But anyway, getting back to the main topic. Now, Ascension was a very, very interesting map. It was something we didn't really hear anything about for a very long time. We know that Gersh got sucked up, he disappeared. That was all we heard about him for many years after Black Ops, after Ascension, until he suddenly reappeared in a cipher in Zetsubonoshima, and then we finally saw his soul in Gorod Karovi. We know Ascension was a Russian scientific research facility where two Russian scientists named Yuri and Gersh worked. Now, Gersh was Yuri's superior, he was his boss, you could say, and at first Yuri worked alongside Gersh, but as we know from ciphers and information, Gersh, for a few reasons, decided to transfer Yuri from working alongside him on the Gersh device to instead working on rocket research, and Yuri wasn't happy about this. Thought he was a lot smarter. He thought that it was basically a waste of time working on these rockets, so held this grudge against Gersh for transferring him over to that side of research for the Ascension group. And this made Yuri mad. But whilst working in rocket research, Yuri found a diary pertaining to Element 115 in some boxes. And so, well, as you would, he experimented with that book in secret. And more than likely due to his experimenting a child, which was more than likely Samantha, although we don't exactly know it. All we know is it was a little girl. Samantha, or this little girl, because of from Yuri reading this book, then began to take control of Yuri's mind, driving him insane till he broke down and agreed to something with the child. On the other side, Gersh did notice that Yuri had increased aggression to the other scientists. He noticed that Yuri was angry and started to have a descent into madness, as well as he was muttering to himself, which was actually Yuri speaking to the girl or Samantha, but obviously Gersh didn't know that at the time. He just thought Yuri was muttering or talking to himself. So one day Gersh went to confront Yuri about what he was doing at the Ascension group, but found him working on the Gersh device, working on the very device that Gersh had transferred him away from. So, as you would, being the leader of the Ascension group, Gersh threatened to have Yuri permanently removed, but before he could do that, Yuri tricked Gersh into activating the device, which sucked Gersh into a black hole. Now from there, after that happened, we didn't know what happened to Gersh. We didn't know if he was dead, if he was stuck somewhere. After being trapped by the Casimir mechanism, we don't know what happened to him. But then later on, as we know in a cipher in Zetsubo no Shima, it is revealed that Gersh is existing in an ethereal form. Basically, his soul is wandering the universe. He said in the cipher he has lost track of time and space and can only see his current location, which was his hometown in Russia's Stalingrad, a city on fire by the river. And obviously later on down the line in Gorokorova, we find his soul, or should I say a little orb of him, floating around, and we do what is necessary to get information. That is the basic story of Ascension. It's actually very, very interesting. Like I said, my favourite map in Black Ops, and if we were to ever get any remakes, Ascension is one of the maps which I would love to see come back. Treyarch did say that in 2017 we are still getting content for Call of Duty Zombies. What they meant by that, whether they just meant the comic books, I don't think so. We do know that not long ago we had an update for Dr. Monty's factory, or where we could basically trade in gobblegums for better ones. It is what it is. It's not very cool, but whatever. I'd prefer new maps, Treyarch, but were they possibly hinting towards maps like Ascension, Moon, Nuketown, maybe others coming back as remakes? I don't know. I could only hope, but there we go. I thought I'd show you this. Let me know what you think of it down in the comment section below. It's definitely something interesting. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you haven't already left a like rating, then if you could please do that. It means an awful lot to me. That'd be greatly appreciated. And please check out, I've just hit my arm. Check out my second channel. Because if you do, go and like a video over there. Gonna destroy an iPhone. Gonna do it for you guys. Leave a like rating on the video over there. Check it out. Links in the description. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.